Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Zach here with Extreme Outfitters, and today we are talking about 60 versus 70 pound bows. So we did a 70 versus 80 pound Matthews lift 29.5 the other day, and we had a lot of requests for one, the Hoyt RX8. I unfortunately don't have any in 80 pounds, but we also had a request for what's the difference in speed-wise versus a 60 and 70 pound bow. So today, that's what we're talking about, and we're doing that on the Hoyt RX8, which is their 30-inch ATA carbon bow. So ATA on this bow is 342. This bow comes in at right at 4 pounds and has a brace height of 6 1/8 inch. So I've got 3 different arrows. We're gonna test this bow at 29 inches today, 85%, and we've got a 430, a 530, and a 580 grain arrow. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna start with this heavy arrow, but first let's just confirm the poundage on this. I believe this is the 60 pound RX8. Yep, 60.7 pounds. And this is our heavy, super heavy arrow, 580 grains. So we've got a chronograph down there. We've actually moved it back a little bit. We had somebody comment and give us a little bit of advice, move it back, you get a little bit more consistent reading, and that seems to be true. So we're running it right around 5 or 6 yards from us. But let's see. That is the coldest hinge on the planet. 228 feet per second. So not my ideal arrow out of a 60 pound bow at 29 inches, 580 grains, getting 228 feet per second. It's a little heavy for my taste. So we'll go to the 530 grain arrow now. And I just grabbed this hinge, and this is the first time I've shot it, and it is incredibly cold. So, if you can punch a hinge, I'm the one that can do it. .238 feet per second with 530 grains. So not a big difference when it comes to a 50 grain arrow difference. But before I get lost in what we're doing, let me write these numbers down. You guys make fun of my fanny pack, but comes in handy. Look at that, we can make notes. So first was 60 pounds for 580 grains was 228 feet per second? 228, 530 grains is 238 feet per second. And let's take a look at the 500 or 430 grain arrow, excuse me. .265 feet per second. So 430 grains, 265, which isn't terrible. Let's make note of that. So now we're gonna go ahead and bump up to 70 pounds and see what the difference is as far as speed goes. But I can tell you right out of the gate, 60 pounds on that RX8 is, that cam is incredibly smooth. It's definitely a bow you could shoot a lot. I like the Hoyt cams in general. I personally think they are smooth and very consistent. They don't stack, they're not stiff. But let's see. Let's make sure this bow's at 70 pounds. .7 pounds. So again, this Whisker Biscuit does not like these heavy arrows, so got to be cautious with that. All right, 70 pounds, 29 inches, 580 grains. $246. So that was a big jump up in speed. It was originally, so at 60 pounds, 580, it was 228. At 70 pounds, 29 inches, 580 grains, we got 246 feet per second, which still, that's a little heavy for my liking, especially at my shorter draw length. I typically shoot 28.5 inches, so it would be even slower than that for me. So let's look at 530 grains. This bow is so smooth though. $257 feet per second. So about 50 grain difference. We gained about 10 feet per second. Now our final arrow, 430 grains. Again, 70 pounds, 29 inches. $285. So to me, that's the sweet spot. I would be, for my draw length and a 70 pound bow, I like somewhere between that 420, 450 grains, because I like something in the 280s to 290 feet per second. So that at 430 grains, 70 pounds, we're right at 285 on the dot. So if we look back between the two bows, so at 60 pounds, 430 grains, we were at 265 feet per second. 70 pounds was 285 feet per second. 530 grains at 60 pounds was 238. 70 pounds was 257. And then 580 grains at 60 pounds was 228. And at 70 pounds was 246. So there's about a 20 feet per second difference, if my math is correct, which it is, about 20 feet per second difference when you bump up those 10 pounds. So is it for worth it for everybody? Maybe not, but for me particularly, that's why I like a little bit heavier poundage bow at a shorter draw length, 28.5 inches. I shoot 70 to 80 pounds typically, and with the cam system on the Hoyt RX8, I really, if you can manage that little bit heavier poundage, I don't see why you wouldn't. You'd get that much more speed out of the bow, so you're gonna get a little bit more energy. You can shoot a little bit heavier arrow faster. Yeah, I like that 70 to 80 pounds personally. I did have a 60 pound bow at one point in time and shot a heavy arrow, and it killed everything I ever shot it with as well. So there's really a lot of different options, and I really think it's up to the individual as to what weight they want to shoot. I know there's a lot of, on our 70 to 80 pound video, we actually got a really good response on it, but there was, you know, obviously those people who are just completely anti-heavy poundage bows, and I get it. It's not for everybody. But you guys wanted to see 60 to 70 pounds. That's the comparison. You gain about 20 feet per second when you go from 60 to 70 pounds at 29 inches on a Hoyt RX8. So drop a comment, let us know what poundage you're shooting, what bow you guys are shooting this year, what bow you think is the best bow of 2024. I'm sure we'll be putting a video out about that very soon. But yeah, very interested to see what you guys have to say. And if you're interested, check out the 70 to 80 pound draw weight video we just put up. I'll link it in the actual, somewhere up here or at the end, you'll see it. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments box. Head over to our website, extremeoutfitters.com, for all of your archery needs, and we will see you in the next video. Appreciate it, guys.